for the free show. As I make sure that the mics are on, and they are.
Are they? Are you sure?
Yep, I can hear you, unfortunately.
Hello. Welcome to the pre-show for the free show. I am Greg. Sitting to my right.
Another Greg.
Also Greg. Multiple Gregs. It's Greg Powers. We were at the, I don't remember where we were. We were at the airport on Monday, and there was another child named Max, like running around because I heard another dad say like Max, like yell at him or something like that. And I remember thinking, like, I was like, are you like yelling at my kid? Like for some reason, and I remembered, oh yes, there are multiple people.
There are other people?
Yeah, other people exist. Yeah, besides that. How are you, Greg?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah, just in the middle of, I guess you could call this camp season.
You've been on the road a lot. You've been moving.
Yeah, stay moving. You got to see these guys.
Yeah,
you got to like watch them play football.
You do have to watch them play football. I found that normally in my amateur scouting career, I have found that watching players play football is the best way to figure out if they're good at football. Sounds like the best thing.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you
That's
go out
how you do it.
get eyes
There's
on
where I've been going wrong.
Where is... That's rude. Where is... Nope, train of thought just went absolutely out the way.
The Elite 11 camp is in Austin this year. It's next weekend.
Okay.
And we won't be there.
No, we won't be there.
But the Texas relays are coming up,
yeah,
too.
And that's big for the recruiting nerds too. Especially, I know that's when Gabe Brooks really perks up. His head kind of pops out.
Yeah, but he only needs the times.
Yeah. He doesn't need to see them.
He doesn't need to see them run. He just needs to know what their times were. I think.
Just need to see the times. Now you're working from home as well because we're all homeless right now because our office has been demolished. It's been destroyed. So please donate.
I set it on fire.
Please donate to our GoFundMe at texasfootball.com/subscribe. That feels rude. No, that's where you can subscribe to Dave Campbell's Texas Football. I don't want to mislead people. How's working from home working for you?
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, I have about 15 years of experience working from my house doing this job. But, I mean, a lot of the times what I'm doing is on the road in the high school or at an event. A lot of times I'm working nights, right, because you're out gathering the content. That's what I think one of the more overlooked parts of, like, covering recruiting, college football, college basketball, those type of things. What people kind of overlook is that you're out gathering the content when you're at the events. Like when we go to THSCA and we do 25 interviews in one day, that's the gathering of the content. The actual production of the content happens later on. So, example, I went to the Under Armour camp in Dallas, took 3,000 photos.
3,000 photos?
Yeah, 3,000 photos,
Wow.
probably 100 video clips. We did multiple reports from there. Like, you go to the camp, and then as soon as you get back, that's when the work kind of starts, right? And, like, you're trying to get that stuff out pretty quick because they're competitors or other people who are trying to get out the same content or at least similar content to you, and the quicker that you get it produced, the better. So a lot of the times I think that like if you're a football player and you go to that event when the event's over, or if you're a coach, you know, a lot of the times your day's over.
Yes.
But not for what we do. So a lot of that happens at night, and whether I'm in the office or not in the office, still working from home during the night. Like,
yes.
That part doesn't change.
No, that has not, like, this is my 14th summer magazine, and we're now into magazine season. And I think I've figured out at this point, like, where I need to be pace-wise. What I need the mile markers you need to be hitting to be on pace to get this thing done by the end of May, which is when we send this magazine to press. And I feel like I have gotten, like, it used to be at the beginning, I would stay up till all hours of the night and work until 2, 3 in the morning. Now, I only work until, like, 11:30, which feels like personal growth. And part of it is that our staff has changed and our team has changed, and we've got more resources. But also, it's just, I think I understand, like, all right, how to work smarter instead of work,
See, I think the best work happens from 11:30 to 2 or 3.
God knows I've written a lot during those hours.
But I just feel like during that time frame, a lot of the times, you can crank
Yes.
out articles. You can crank out content during that time. You can get stuff done that you wouldn't normally have gotten done. There's no distractions. There's really not even anything good on TV.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so you have like replays of Judge Judy or
late night baseball for me.
Yeah, the baseball game on. It was like this week was a big college basketball grind, right? Like you're doing all this stuff while college basketball is on in the background. But I just feel like you can get a lot of stuff done.
That'll be me, especially in April. My wife will go to bed.
My wife.
And then I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna go make a cup of coffee, and I'll,
See, that's funny. I'm the opposite. I would rather crank stuff out in the morning. Like, I'd rather get up at 5 a.m. and go like 5 to 8 and just blow through it. I don't know. I feel like my mind's sharper in the morning than it is at night. I get one cup of coffee in me and just go.
No, I agree. You are sick.
I gotta feel like your Texan Live life is a lot like the recruiting life, is that it never ends.
Yes.
Like, people don't know that after you did 9 to 5, you watched 16 games at night and made sure that the audio was working and that people showed up to work and that it was staffed. That same thing kind of happens for like kind of what we do on the content production side. Like, nobody knows that I updated 20 headshots and updated profiles.
No.
Until you look at it, right?
No,
like,
and
no one knows that you actually kind of like, someone has to do that work. Somebody has to crop the headshot photo that goes in the profile, and then you got to keep them updated, because when you make the profile, they're freshmen or sophomores, but when they're seniors, their freshman and sophomore photo doesn't look so great anymore. So it's just like a constant battle to try to keep that kind of stuff updated and on the site. But the cool thing about it is it's a fun battle.
It is.
It is a fun battle.
We say this, like, whenever we talk about our jobs, it's always important to like reset with people. It's like, we could be out like digging ditches. Like, our job, we have a fun job. It's a lot, but it's a fun lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Is that?
You should have, if you're not having fun covering football,
I talked with somebody.
You're in the wrong business. Like, you shouldn't be doing it. Open up the space for somebody who is going to.
I talked with a friend recently who said that she's going on a work trip here in the near future, and she said, I think I'm looking forward to this work trip for like to a work trip for the first time I'm ever looking forward to a work trip. And I told you about that.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember thinking, like, man, that's just kind of sad.
Yeah, and then my like counterpoint to that was that it's crazy because we go down to 7-on-7, state 7-on-7. Realistically, we are working 16, 17-hour days in literally brutal heat. I mean, I'm talking like 115 degrees.
College Station's beautiful.
Yeah.
But the weather is
not.
hell-like.
And it's like the fact that I still look forward to that just because we have a fun group and we know that we're all just going to suffer through it, so we might as well make the most of it. I was like, the fact that we can go out into literal hell and work for that long and still pretty much enjoy it is cool.
Again, hellish weather, not hell of college.
Yeah, exactly.
College Station, great city.
Yeah, especially. And by the way, Brian, we were talking about that, Brian.
We do like downtown Bryan.
I like downtown Bryan. There's good food there, and
we can't tell about our secret spot.
We can't tell about our secret spot where we'll be Wednesday night. We can't tell people because we gotta make sure you. Anyway, enough of that. Hit the theme X though. Pickle. Hit the air sign. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Bachelorette Pad in an undisclosed location.
You got it right.
Texas Football Today, a show that's been thinking about doing this intro for 23 hours.
He's gotten it wrong every single time.
Craig Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, a magazine, texasfootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live, texasfootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, not Twitch. I almost got it right. Or you're listening to the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local, mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She's the Duchess of the Dorks, Miss 305, soon to be Mrs. 305. She's Ashley Pickle. Dolly.
Hi, friends. Happy Wednesday. I broke my streak of only showing up for Math Tuesday.
I know, yeah.
But it was worth it because Grev!
And Flex on Wednesday, yeah. Oh, also, Greg Powers here. Greg Powers, the Director of Recruiting for Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Hey, dude.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Thanks for joining us in the Bachelorette Pad.
Howdy, hey.
We missed you last week. I understand we did it remotely, but yeah, we did miss you.
I thought it was a good show last week, actually.
I thought it was too.
I was in College Station.
You missed a good show.
I know.
This week is going to be better, though, because you're here.
Duh.
No. Today is Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. Yeah, 320.
Mallory, can you cut that?
253 days until Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to Jamal Crawford. Sting is 65.
Nice.
Sting the singer?
Sting the wrestler.
Okay.
Sting the wrestler is 65.
He just had his
Didn't he just
retirement.
retirement?
He had his retirement.
Yeah, exactly. It's also
It was brutal.
It's also Mr. Rogers' birthday. It's episode 1748. On today's show, folks, This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football, the latest news and notes from across the state. In the back half of the show, Powers was on the road, caught up with the blue chip Cy Falls linebacker
Kaleb Burns.
Thank you, Kaleb Burns, who kind of give us some insight into what he's thinking as far as recruiting is concerned. He's got, Lord knows, he will go where he wants to go. That is
20
not
plus offers.
That is not an issue. Options are aplenty for Kaleb Burns. We will hear from him coming up here at the back half of the program. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was Daniel Agnew, TJ Hudson, jersey number 69,
Nice.
and Miss Mallory Hartley. Welcome in, friends.
Welcome in, friends. We do appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with us. It's just not the same in...
Not with that attitude.
I just mean it's not the same over Zoom as it is
Oh.
here.
Okay.
What I
That's a
mean by
factual
that
statement.
is, I'm Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers. This is This Week
in Crootin.
It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScouts. He has fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. And speaking of fine, it's brought to you by our fine chicken friends at Chicken Express. Chicken Express. I saw a Chicken Express like 18-wheeler on the road yesterday, and it's just got the big chicken, the big flying chicken on it, and I was just like, that's how God intended it.
Every time that I
giant
see
flying
the thing, it doesn't matter if I'm with people or without people. It's obviously better with people in the car, but I just say, follow that chicken!
Follow that chicken.
Because that's what I feel like.
Yeah.
Chicken Express quesadillas slap, Pickle. Good job on making those Chicken
Nah,
Express
thank
quesadillas
you.
today. They were awesome.
Blackstone
It
Wednesday.
was an idea I never had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. It's we are
Had to
not,
do Chicken E proud.
we are not just spokespeople. We are also customers.
We
and
practice
clients.
what we preach.
We are clients. We are the clientele. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting. A lot to get to this week. Let's start with our prospect on the rise. Our prospect on the rise, let's go to Lorena, a little Central Texas action to talk about their senior defensive tackle, Jackson Blackwell. Jackson Blackwell picked up a couple of new offers this week from Baylor, Texas Tech, Houston, and Arizona. This is fresh on the heels of him being the defensive line MVP at the recent Under Armour camp. And the 6'3", 305-pounder is, I know, a guy who is on the rise in your mind, on recruiting boards across the nation, and overall just in the recruiting sphere.
Yeah, no doubt. He had himself a really good day at the Under Armour camp, securing defensive line MVP honors. The following week after that, he picked up offers from Baylor, Texas Tech, Houston, Arizona, and more. He actually has now scheduled official visits with Baylor, Houston, and Texas Tech. Texas has started to show some interest in him. He's scheduled an unofficial visit to go and check out the Longhorns program. I define his game as I'll define him as a strong man.
Okay.
I like to use that term when talking about Jackson Blackwell. He's a strong man. 700-pound squat.
That'll play.
Wow.
700-pound squat. So when Sterling Brooks committed to TCU last year, I think that it was a 635-pound squat. Maybe it was 655-pound squat. But, that was good enough that was the headliner of his commitment story, right? Jackson Blackwell's stronger than that. He is a monster. Like, he is a literal strongman. It wouldn't surprise me if you had like a Texas high school football strongman competition that he might win it. So he's a freakishly strong interior defensive line prospect with good athleticism. He tested pretty well at the UA camp as well. Legit size too, 6'2", 305 pounds. It's all real. So Jackson Blackwell is a prospect who continues to pick up interest from in-state schools, and it wouldn't be a surprise to see some of the out-of-state schools really start to give him a lot more attention in the spring evaluation period. But we'll see how long he's on the board, because it looks like things are moving pretty quick with him. As soon as these schools offered, he's scheduled his official visit. So I think that he's liking what he sees, and these schools have already built relationships with him.
Look, the young man got picked up 4 Big 12 offers in the span of like 10 days. So it's going pretty well for Jackson Blackwell. It wouldn't be a surprise to see other people get involved in that one as well.
Little, I guess, tie-in. Lorena wide receiver Jadon Porter signed with Baylor last year, not too far from home. I'm not saying that's the direction this thing's going in, because it looks like it could go in any number of directions, but it's got to be nice to have somebody on one of those rosters that's a buddy and that you played with help lead you to a state championship state championship appearance. Did they win it?
Yeah, they won.
Yeah, they won it
2 years ago.
Man, see, I lose that stuff. Have to remember only this year's stuff.
Yeah, it's
I as well squat 700 pounds, by the way.
Nice.
So I really don't see what the big deal is, but
I mean,
to each their own.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's
interesting. I did
can
walk
eat
past
700 pounds of salsa.
Let's get to our
We are built the same.
Let's get to our commit of the week. Our commit of the week is Chapel Hill athlete Demetrius Brisbane. And perhaps you're thinking, wait a second, he didn't commit this week. And you're right. There were actually no commitments this week across state. But this gives us an opportunity, because I think this is a couple weeks ago, when he flipped from Baylor to SMU, I think he picked the wrong time to do that, because I think there was a flurry of big commitments.
I think we were off that week, actually.
Yeah. And so Demetrius Brisbane flips from Baylor to SMU. He plays quarterback for Chapel Hill. He's listed in the recruiting rankings as an athlete.
Wasn't he at SMU?
He flipped from Baylor to SMU.
Oh, okay.
And so now he's going to be there he flipped from SMU to Baylor.
Baylor, yeah. Because
Rhett
Lashley and crew were there to watch him and Ricky Stewart.
I had it reversed. He flipped from SMU to Baylor. I apologize. He is listed as an athlete. We'll see where he ends up landing on the field. But Demetrius Brisbane, Baylor picks up a really nice steal from their North Central Texas rivals.
So both of those guys, she mentioned Ricky Stewart and Demetrius Brisbane. Both Tyler Chapel Hill guys were committed to SMU at one point, and now both have decommitted. That was a huge commitment for Rhett Lashley and co. whenever they made their decision. But I think the significant change that happened in this recruitment was the fact that Keenan Hall moved from SMU to Baylor. And that was the person who was running point in that recruitment, had developed a really strong relationship with that duo. And to be honest, Coach Hall at Baylor, out of all the hot recruiting names in the coaching circles, his name is one of the hottest right now. A lot of prospects are talking up Coach Hall. That relationship with Demetrius Brisbane is deep, and that's why I think that you saw him flip from SMU to Baylor. Positionally, he's walking into a program that loves defensive players. They've got a defensive-minded head coach, but needs that type of skill on offense. So it'll be very interesting to see what side of the ball that they actually have him pegged for. Coach Hall is leading that recruitment, but he's like a recruiting specialist, right? Like, he can be involved in a lot of recruitment, so I don't think it's a clear indication of what position he's going to play just because an offensive coach is running point. And that thing, a lot of times you can look at that and say, oh, well, which coach is like running point here, so that way we can figure out what side of the ball that they'll actually play on when they're an athlete. So I don't think that tips the scale in one direction or another of trying to determine which position he can play. 5'11", 170, he can do it all. He's been starting since he was a freshman at quarterback for Tyler Chapel Hill, and he's always been a really good player, and I think that he's got them poised to make another run at a state championship next year. A lot of talent coming back, and I think Baylor's in a good position with Ricky Stewart as well as the Texas Longhorns. It'll be interesting to see where the 4-star running back also commits.
Yeah, it's Chapel Hill's loaded. We knew that heading into the state championship game last year with their run to the title game. They're going to be loaded again in 2020.
They've got some pieces to. They do have some pieces to replace, right?
Yes.
They had a big 6'6" wide receiver that they have to try to figure out a way to replace. And on the defensive side of the ball, I think up front they now have some holes. It was Kendall Allen was like a really, really good guy up front for them. It'll be interesting. But like you said, they got a lot of talent coming back. And, of course, when you have the two bell cows,
yes,
your quarterback and your running back coming in at that level, I think it's a big deal.
I think the Bulldogs will find a way.
And you can watch them live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
They're always working. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. On Texas Football Today, get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Let's roll on to our underclassmen of the week. Our underclass of the week is Flower Mound offensive lineman junior Drew Evers. Drew Evers had a big honor this week. Rivals put out, I believe, their initial 2026 rankings.
Yeah, I think so.
And the number one prospect in the state, according to Rivals, is the 6'4", 290-pound Drew Evers, the offensive lineman from Flower Mound. We have him as a DCTF 4-star right now. Certainly has tons of offers, places like Alabama, Texas A&M, Michigan, Oklahoma, Penn State, etc. Drew Evers is catching some attention nationally, obviously, with a national outlet on 3, making him the state's number one prospect.
Yeah,
Rivals, I should say, yes.
Rivals made him the number one player in the state, and I think that was a huge honor for him. I guess we could consider that local to like where we are. Flower Mound, very close to where we office out of. So congratulations to the local product on being named number one. Has 20-plus offers. Of course, his brother is a quarterback at Wisconsin. He committed to Oklahoma. Nick Evers. He committed to Oklahoma out of high school, transferred to Wisconsin, up there now in the Big Ten. And all the big-time colleges are coming after Drew Evers because he's very versatile. He's a guy who I think could realistically play anywhere up front. He can even snap. So he's been playing left tackle at the 6A level, accomplished left tackle. But I think when you're talking about versatility and roster flexibility, Evers offers a lot of that. He is also been, I guess the word I'm looking for is like well-schooled to the recruiting process and what it takes to be a success at the college level, because he's seen his brother go through the recruiting process and have to deal with college life. He's went through the transfer portal thing, so he's really, been able to study that part of the, I guess, the business now. Like it's a business. Yeah, I mean, it's a business now.
The scene.
Yeah. But he's a student athlete, very smart, high football IQ, good grades, and comes from a good family. So I think this is a well-rounded prospect in the Lone Star State, and we're going to be hearing a lot about him as he goes through his recruitment and tries to pick the college that fits him best. He still has 2 years of high school ball left, so we're talking about he's got some time, but all the big dogs are already after him.
Let's round it all out with our recruit of the week. Our recruit of the week is Cy-Fair defensive lineman Landon Rink. Landon Rink was the 2025 Under Armour All-America game, named to the Under Armour All-America game after a big performance at the Under Armour Next Houston camp. He's a Texas Longhorns commit. This is one of those guys, every class, I end up finding myself gravitating to a couple of players and be like, oh, I really like this guy.
He rocks.
And it's weird. It's weird to do it for a guy who's as well thought of as Landon Rink. Normally, I end up finding these 2 or 3A, 2A or 3A
Armando
guys.
Luan.
Yeah,
like sophomore year Armando Luan.
Exactly right. I want to hop on their bandwagon and stuff like that. But every time I watch Landon Rink's tape, I'm just like, nah, this dude rocks, and I'm just a big fan. And certainly he's also going to have some official visits elsewhere, A&M, Oklahoma, and Ohio State among them. But Landon Rink still turning heads across the state.
I'm a big fan, too. And what I love about Landon Rink's game is, again, he's a guy who creates a lot of mismatches up front because he's quicker than most offensive linemen, but he's also 6'2", 275, 280 pounds. So he has the power to be able to slide inside and do some different type of stuff. They actually utilize him like that in the Cy-Fair defensive front to move him around to create those mismatches. His father has done a tremendous job. He's a coach over there at Cy-Fair, played his college ball for the Texas Longhorns of coaching him up. He's one of the most well-schooled players in the state, checking in at number 30 in the DCTF Rising Hot 100. He's a solid 4-star. We haven't rated at defensive tackle. I think it would be fair to call Landon Rink a defensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a defensive end. He's not a defensive tackle. He's a guy who really is going to play a certain technique in what you're trying to do on that down. So you're going to be able to move him around and do some different things. He had 15 sacks last year. That's a big boy.
Yeah.
His pursuit after he breaks through the line is insane. Like, when you're watching the old school football movies and there's always the one lineman that's barking at the line, I'm going to get you. That's what he looks like.
It always feels like a bear's chasing after you.
Yes.
I don't know. It's oh, this is bad. You know what I mean? If he gets free, when he gets free, I should say, it's oh, this is very bad.
Go away. As an offensive player, are you ever not there?
Yeah, Landon Rink's tape is just a lot of fun if you just like big disruptive defensive tackles.
Agreed. And his dad, Shane Rink, who did play at Texas, it doesn't always work out like this, right? You have a lot of guys who have that lineage to college football or the NFL. Quite often, they don't play the same position as their father, right? Roman Seymour at Fort Bend Ridge Point, his dad didn't play quarterback.
Right.
Now Roman's one of the top quarterbacks in the 2026 class. Well, Landon got to learn defensive techniques since the time he was a kid from his old man, who is a good coach.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And Landon Rink, I've worked with him at the Next Level camp. He was our D-line MVP there last year. He soaks that coaching up like a sponge. So Rink is a very accomplished player. Now, the interesting thing is, where is he going to end up playing his college football? Because right out of the gate, it looked like Texas was in a commanding position. But now as this thing has played out, there have been some schools that have come in to crack into that line of thinking that he's a Texas lock, which I don't think he's a Texas lock anymore. Ohio State, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, those are all schools that are vying for his commitment. And he has some unique connections with the Texas A&M commits because they played together on a youth football team with Kelvion Riggins and DeAndre Tiger Ryden from DeSoto. So there's some connections there heavily in College Station. Could he buck the trend and not follow in his father's footsteps and pick one of these other schools? I think he's going to pick the school that he feels like fits his talents the best, so it wouldn't be surprised to see him go to anywhere. Options abound. He can really go wherever he wants.
Very, very true. Another guy who can go anywhere he wants, but that's just because he's Greg
A
Powers,
grown man.
our director.
And also, I have the keys to my automobile.
See his final word at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. Stick around because I want you to introduce the next segment.
I'll be here.
We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Coming up here in just a moment, we get the inside scoop on one of the hottest linebackers in the class of 2025. But first, a word from these goods and services.
I feel like bustin' loose, bustin' loose. Come on, get on up. Oh yeah, get on up. Bustin' loose when you wanna sing. Bustin' loose, baby, do your thing. Talking about bustin' loose, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Wing is the largest residential drone delivery provider in the world, delivering to your home in less than 30 minutes. Order using an app just like other popular delivery services, and Wing's automated drone takes care of the rest. It's fast, safe, and sustainable, and it's now delivering to parts of Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. You can learn more at wing.com/TexasFootball. Again, that's wing.com/TexasFootball.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
Back here on Texas Football Today with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting. And Powers, you were down in the Houston area and caught up with one of the rising stars in the linebacker ranks.
Kaleb Burns is a linebacker who is very versatile, can play any of the 3 linebacker spots, 4 linebacker spots, I guess you could say. Really impressed me with his coverage. 20-plus offers, and you can hear him talk about some of his favorites right here in this interview.
Here's Kaleb Burns here on Texas Football Today.
It's Greg Powers with Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and I'm out here at the End Zone 7-on-7, and I'm joined by Texas United linebacker Kaleb Burns. Man, just want to kind of talk about your recruiting rise. 20 offers are in the bag. What's it mean to you in general just to have all that attention, have all those scholarships coming your way?
I just want to thank God, thank everybody that supported me. Couldn't do it without my teammates, my coaches. So, that's really just a big factor for me.
Just kind of talk about how 7-on-7 helps you sharpen your skills a little bit. You're out here running some coverages, and I saw that you did a pretty good job. Your team went 3-0 today, and at least while I was watching, you didn't give up any receptions.
Yeah. My offense does good, our defense does good. So it's like, it's a team effort, really. We all put in the work. It really just helps me, get my coverage skills up, stay sharp, really. So.
Kind of talk about your high school program over there at Cy Falls. I know that you got a lot of talent on the team. What's in general like playing there, and what do you love about Cy Falls?
I like what the coaches are doing. I like how the program, how we're like have new leaders and like the new stuff we're doing now. So I like what Coach Brister's doing for sure.
Talk about your strengths as a player. What are you doing well out there? Why do 20 colleges want to offer you an opportunity to come play at their program? What defines your game?
I feel like, my athleticism, how I really come off the edge, how I move when some other kids can't really do that, I feel like, so, Yeah.
Is there a player in the league or college that you feel like your game resembles on the field that you really like?
I'll say for college, for sure, Harold Perkins.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
Houston area guy?
Yeah,
Cypress guy?
For sure.
20 scholarship offers, we'd be here all day if we were to talk about all of them, right? So I'm going to pick out a few to ask you about specifically. I'm going to start a little bit further away from home in the SEC, the Florida Gators. What do you like about Florida, and why are they a realistic option to potentially land your commitment?
I like the relationship me and the coaches have. Like almost every single coach like reached out to me when they offer me. So I like what they're doing. I really know, it's Florida Gators. Like everybody likes, everybody really likes them.
SMU in Dallas. What do you like about SMU? Obviously, their move to the Power 4, being a Power 4 school now, it has made a big impact as far as their recruiting goes. But what do you like about them personally? Why do they relate to you?
I know linebackers that go there that I train with, so that's a factor. I see myself in their.
Is that Kilgore?
Yeah,
Kilgore.
Yeah, that's my dog. Yeah. And, I see myself in their scheme. Like I see myself striving there. So and then also the coaching staff. Love the coaching staff. Love what Coach Crum's doing. So yeah.
Not too far from home, the Houston Cougars. They got a new coaching staff. Hired Willie Fritz from Tulane. They had a lot of success at Tulane before they came to UH, and they're doing a pretty good job, I think, recruiting their home base in the greater Houston area. What have you learned about that program so far underneath that new staff, and why could they be an option for you?
I like with the defensive coordinator. I like how he talks. I like how he, like runs the defense. And Coach Fritz, I feel like he's gonna do great things over there for sure. I feel like I see myself like striving there for sure.
Texas Tech.
Yeah.
The Red Raiders. Joey McGuire's the head coach there. He's a former Texas high school football coach. There seems to be a lot of positive momentum around that program. As a matter of fact, they signed the #1 player in the state last year in Micah Hudson. Is that something like a recruit notices?
Yeah, of course. I've talked to Michael before actually, so just seeing him, seeing them getting him, that means like they must be doing something good for sure. So like just them getting Micah Hudson, yeah. That must
Have you been on a visit up there or anything like that? Have you seen it yet?
I went to a spring game, earlier.
What's the campus like?
Oh yeah, I like the environment. I like everything about it really.
Is there any other program? We talked about SMU, we talked about Texas Tech, we've talked about Florida, and we've talked about Houston. Is there another program out there, like I'd be foolish not to ask you, is there another program that you would think like that was a game-changing offer for you, you definitely like to give them a shout out or talk to them, about them a little bit?
TCU, I like what TCU's doing. I like how I like their coach, their linebacker coach for sure. We talk like almost every other day. So
you're getting a good personal relationship with him. Who is it?
Coach Ken Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been up to TCU? What stood out to you about that program?
I ended up going for a spring. What was it? A junior day. I ended up going for a junior day. I talked to all the coaches. Talked to Coach.
Sonny Dykes up there.
Yeah, Coach Dykes.
Coach Dykes.
Yeah, talked to Coach Dykes.
When it comes down to it, man, what are you looking for in a program? I mean, 20 offers is going to be hard to sort through, and you haven't really released a favorites list. I always make a joke like I got to have Whataburger close to campus. That's not realistic if you're going to Florida. So I know that you're looking for a deeper meaning behind your school selection. What are you looking for in a program? What might be help you make a decision on where you want to play?
The right fit for me and my family. I feel like I don't want to go somewhere that's I'm not going to strive at it. So just having the right fit. The loyalty, of course. The right environment for me. So those are just big factors for me.
Kaleb Burns right here, one of the top linebackers, not only in the state of Texas, but in the entire country, man. Thanks for the time. Good luck as you go throughout your senior season. Of course, as you're looking for that right fit on the college level, man. Thanks for the time, and good luck with everything.
There he is, Kaleb Burns, the linebacker prospect who is making some noise. A top 100 prospect on the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Rising Hot 100, and a guy who's already got a ton of offers. And again, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that they are not the final offers he's going to get.
No, but I think that he's got a pretty good list coming together. I think that Florida offer seemed to really grab his attention a lot. But one thing that I just want to say on the behalf of Kaleb Burns and all the other Texas high school football prospects across it, what well-spoken student athletes we have around here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
That interview that you just watched, you can only see me and Kaleb kind of on the video, but there was a gaggle of people around us, right? Like there was 30, 40 people around us, and like 2 or 3 of them were filming me film that interview.
Right. Which adds pressure for even an interviewer.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure, and like there were people like off camera, like moving around, and Kaleb dealt with that remarkably well and was able to answer all the questions without missing a beat. So thanks, Kaleb, for the interview, and we look forward to doing it again.
I bet that's something college coaches get pumped about. Like when they watch a recruit that they're actively trying to recruit or get in there and see that like they handle themselves really well on an interview. I bet that's like, that holds some weight.
It's one of those things like, oh, that's something we don't have to worry about. You know what I mean? It's like this guy is not going to get out there and say something silly. He's going to be polished and understand, and well spoken, and that's what Kaleb Burns does there, the Cy Falls linebacker. So we appreciate his time. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle, America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
I don't know if they're going live, but I do know that there will be a new episode of ROF hitting sometime later today. So
feed.
Yes, the feed. Carter, Ish, and Mal will be bringing that to you, and then we got a pickleball tournament tonight.
We do. Can I give you
as a staff?
Can I give you some breaking news? We officially, so we're collecting questionnaires for the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, which we're working on. We officially have all of the Z questionnaires.
Let's go.
We got both Zapata and Zephyr. Zephyr just came in
Let's go.
before deadline.
I almost
Deadline.
said Zephyr too. I was like, we got Zephyr.
We got
Yeah.
Zephyr. We got Zephyr. Yeah, Zapata and Zephyr both in this week. We
Let's go.
appreciate both those coaches.
Big day
getting
for
in.
the Z's.
Big day. Big day.
Only 1,498 to go.
That's not true. We're over halfway.
Nice.
Do you know that?
Let's
we have
go.
51.75% of the questionnaires in.
And
That's
if you're
pretty good.
some of
That's above average, isn't
That's
it? Right on
That
par
is
for
right
the-
on par. We're pacing exactly where we should be.
and
So
if you haven't gotten it in, get it in.
it's due next Thursday. They know it because they are getting pummeled with emails from me.
Don't wait until
They
the
get an email.
deadline.
So the coaches get an email twice a week from me.
My
But if-
my favorite ones are still the ones that get mailed in.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
we'll still
Yeah.
get. So it used to be, for those who don't know, we used to mail a questionnaire to every coach as well. About 6 years ago, we stopped doing that because we would only get 100 or so print ones back. Most of them just filled it out online. We've just transitioned fully online, and by the way, there's it's online, and coaches are getting younger and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It all just works out well. But we will still have 10 coaches who print it off, fill it out by hand, find an envelope, find a stamp, and mail it to our offices. It'll still happen.
And if they can do that, then you have no reason that you can't fill out the electronic
That's
form.
exactly right.
And I'm not going to name any names, but some of the ones that come in that are handwritten are people who I know.
Oh yeah.
Well, and it's really
we have personal
They're
friends.
still they're fun to read that way for some reason. I don't know. And I'm thinking, is that his actual handwriting, or did somebody fill this out?
Well, and it's funny because they typically have the best handwriting, and it's because they still write more than when's the last time that normal people write?
And to be clear, so I'll give you an example, okay? And I'm not picking on him, but Denny Faith.
Mm-hmm.
Denny Faith used to be at Albany. Used to be a gentleman who would print out the questionnaire. Or we would mail it to him. He'd fill it out.
He's been doing
put
it for
back in the
36
envelope,
years.
and send it back to us, right? Exactly. He still fills it out by hand, but I think one of his assistant coaches scans it and sends it to us now. So we get it electronically, but he's like, "Here you go, I'm done."
Solid.
So that's fine. That's a nice in between. You keep doing what you're doing.
See, this is why the
It's a
prices
ritual
of
for
stamps
people,
are going
what I
up.
mean? Exactly right. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to Cy Falls linebacker Kaleb Burns for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle and Greg Powers, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please come get your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow on Texas Football Today.